So Zeno, did you watch the Oscars first and foremost?
I did.
Okay.
I watched it sporadically, and then we recorded it
I
on
don't think
YouTube.
anybody watches it completely.
Yeah, we recorded it on YouTube TV and went back and watched some of that. This is going to be very similar to the breakdown I gave on the radio show. If you guys want to pop over there and watch that too, I'll try to make it concise. Big moments that happened at the Oscars. Glenn Close lost for the 8th time. She also did the butt, and so
What?
to explain that, yeah, Questlove was like the DJ at the Oscars, and so he and Lil Ray Howard or Lil Rel Howard, I forget the guy's name.
Yeah.
We're doing like a little skit where Questlove would play songs that had either been nominated for Best Original Song, won for Best Original Song, or never got even recognized by the Oscars. So Questlove played like Purple Rain, which apparently wasn't nominated, but the score was nominated for an Oscar. So Lil Rel will go ask someone, and then the person will answer yes or no. Yes, like that. So anyway, so after going through a bunch of people, Lil Rel got to Glenn Close, and they played a song, the song "The Butt" from the band is called EU. It's a DC band, but I forget what EU stands for. Electric Underground, I think. So anyway, so they're playing it for her. It's a song from a Spike Lee movie. It was a song that was used in a Spike Lee movie, but it didn't get nominated for an Oscar. And but Glenn Close is spouting off all this trivia about the band and the song, and they're like, "What?" So then Lil Rel was like, "But can you do the butt though?" Oh no. He said, "Can you do the dance that's like attached to the song?" She was like, "I mean, I guess I could." So she gets up and she starts doing it, and it's literally the funniest thing that happened at the Oscars. People are like, "Oh, the thing was so staged or whatever." So what? It's Glenn Close. It's Glenn Close doing the butt. I don't care if it's staged.
Yeah.
So that happened. That was pretty funny. Another thing that happened is something I talked about during our top 5, which is Daniel Kaluuya winning and highlighting Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party's contributions to their community. Anyone who hasn't watched the movie, you should go watch Judas and the Black Messiah. It's a really stellar movie, but also it gives you an understanding of how Fred Hampton was trying to bring together, how he called it a rainbow coalition. Poor whites, Hispanics. I think there's even an Asian group, and they're like, trying to bring them together because the enemy wasn't each other. It wasn't racism. It was, unfettered authoritarianism from law enforcement, right? So that's who they were like fighting against. And great movie, and Kaluuya had a speech about that, which is really great. Another big thing that happened was the Tyler Perry won the humanitarian awards, and he gave a speech talking about not wanting to hate people, not hating cops and this and that. It was a very well-intentioned speech, right? But it got a lot of backlash because it seemed like Tyler Perry was trying to say that you shouldn't like basically turn the other cheek, sort of thing, right? Which is kind of ill-timed considering of the more than a few things that have been happening in recent times with regards to police abuse of power. So there was backlash about that, but I understood what he was trying to say, and I took it for what it was, right? Nomadland did pretty well. The Jets just picked Zach Wilson from BYU, number 2 pick.
Zach Wilson, okay.
So so Nomadland won for Best Director. Chloe Zhao became the first female
woman of color.
Female
woman. You know what I mean?
The first female director of color to win Best Director. It also won Best Picture. Frances McDormand also won Best Actress for it, which people thought would go to Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but it didn't. People thought it might go to I forget the singer's name, but she played.
Oh, I know who you're
Oh
talking about.
God, yeah. She played Billie Holiday in the movie, The United States versus Billie Holiday. She didn't win it. So people were kind of like peeved about that, especially since Frances McDormand has won multiple times before. But you know what?
Andra Day.
Andrew Day, yes. But so is Viola Davis. Viola Davis has won at least one Oscar before, so it's not like, oh, she has to wait for an Oscar. She's got one. I think the one, and I'm sure I'm skipping a lot of key moments, but I think the one that really got people talking, and this is the one where you and I can converse on, is that the Oscars changed the format, right? So usually you might have like supporting actor and supporting actress at the top or early on in the show. Which, by the way, the older lady from Minari, the one who plays the grandmother in Minari, she won Best Supporting Actress. But usually you might have supporting actor and actress at the top, but you definitely keep the best actor, best actress, and then best picture at the end. Usually ending with best picture. It's the biggest award of the night.
Yeah.
They moved different things around, right? Just to, I guess the vice president of ABC programming or whatever said that they were just trying to spice things up. They moved things around, and they had Best Picture as the third to last award. Then they had lead actress. Then they had lead actor. A lot of people were like, okay, they're doing lead actor last. Yeah, they're doing lead actor last because they wanted to end on this like big, Chadwick Boseman moment. Like we're giving, and Anthony Hopkins won Best Actor instead, and people were like, "What?" And what made it worse is Anthony Hopkins wasn't there. So Joaquin Phoenix, who was presenting the award, was basically like, and the winner is Anthony Hopkins, and it was like, and Anthony Hopkins is not here. We'll accept this on his behalf, and then the show just kind of fades to black, basically, and that's it. Because usually, if you have a presenter, the presenter will come out and be like, "And that's our show. Thanks for coming." Yada yada. No, there's no presenters. It's just like, sorry, it just like fades to black, and everyone's like, "Wait, what just happened?" So yeah, that was the biggest story from the night, which I guess can lead to our conversation about that. I know you had questions.
Well, I didn't know that they had rearranged everything, which, like I said, when you said it, my reaction was like, that's just a setup.
Yeah.
Right. Now I get why people are more upset about. I mean, I got originally why they were upset about Chadwick Boseman not winning. But that's just, they don't do that. Like, just why are you gonna do that? Like, that's kind of dumb. You're setting yourself up for hate, right? So obviously, well, first, real quickly, what was your reaction to? I mean, we both can't say that Chadwick Boseman deserves it over Anthony Hopkins because we haven't seen Anthony Hopkins. I haven't seen
either movie. I haven't seen The Father or Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
So basically, off of performance, we can't really speak on that, right? But I guess it's more of like, do you feel like if they hadn't changed the things around where they made the best actor be this nomination, where this guy that was beloved was nominated posthumously, like, do you think if they hadn't set that up like that, where that's the last nomination, let's just say they do the normal where they put the best actor, or even if they have done best actor, best actress, to kind of be like, all right, we know this isn't the win that people want, we're going to knock this one out, we're going to set it up for best movie, best director, yada yada. Do you think they set themselves up by doing that?
It wouldn't have been as big of a story as it was. It would have still been a big story, but I think not having Best Picture afterwards to kind of soften that blow. I think that was a mistake. Obviously, it's probably a testament to the fact that they actually don't know who's in the envelope. Because I think they were betting that Chadwick Boseman was in the envelope, and it would be like this big, crescendo moment to the Oscars, and then they just got it wrong. But yeah, it would have been better had Chadwick Boseman lost, but not at the last award of the night.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So what's your opinion, man? Do you think it would be right? Like, so let's just say we both watch both performances, right? We both watched the movies. Do you think there's kind of a because we just talked about, right? We think Heath Ledger probably got some extra votes because people actually watched the movie because of his death, and that might be why people, or maybe even people. I think he got a few sympathy votes. Not to say that he didn't deserve it, but he got a few sympathy votes, right? Do you think? Do you think it's fair to for us to be like, you know what? Why give it to Anthony Hopkins? He's won it before. Should have given it to Chadwick Boseman. Or it should be like, at the end of the day, let's do the performance.
Okay. I hear what you're saying, right? Like, give it to merit as opposed to, emotion. But we've highlighted throughout our top 5 and even earlier in this segment that the Oscars do makeup calls all the time. And there's, at the end of the day, it's human beings voting, right? It's not some review aggregator like Rotten Tomatoes, right? So at the end of the day, you can be like, okay, hey, Chadwick Boseman, we know he's a good actor. We know he's been great in a lot of roles that we've overlooked. They've overlooked a lot of good Chadwick Boseman roles just because.
James Brown.
Yeah. I even thought he was pretty good in 42, but they overlooked those roles because it's not the prestige roles or whatever. I wouldn't say he was the best actor in Black Panther. I think there were other characters that did a better job than him in that movie. But anyway, the point I'm making is that he has been overlooked, and you know that this man is not going to make another movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. Now,
I got you.
Yeah, that being said, right, there was also a lot of talk that Steven Yeun could win it for Minari.
That'd be the first Asian American.
Yeah, I would have been fine with that too, because I've actually heard that his performance is actually really great. I would have been fine if that happened, but to forego both Chadwick and Steven Yeun and give it to Anthony Hopkins, who's like a mainstay in the field, he already won before. I thought it was kind of like an easy way out. You know what I think happened? I think what pretty much happened is the Niners pick is in, by the way. So what pretty much happened is that they had votes pretty much split between 2 emotional picks, right? Oh, Niners pick Trey Lance, North Dakota State. So 2 emotional picks, right? It could have gone to Steven Yeun as the first Asian American. It would have been a beautiful story. Or it could have gone to Chadwick Boseman, a guy who passed away tragically. And I think a lot of the votes split between those 2, and Anthony Hopkins got the remnants of it.
He just like, you know what though? You got to give props to Anthony Hopkins for. You saw his acceptance speech on Instagram. He gave tribute to Chadwick Boseman, which just shows to prove like Anthony Hopkins, like, look, maybe I should have won it, but I'm also a classy motherfucker.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, none of the backlash was ever hate against.
It was never.
Hopkins.
No, it never would be.
Yeah, it was never about Anthony Hopkins. It was about the Oscars themselves, and kind of.
Well, it's kind of like to me, it reminds me of. And again, we haven't seen these performances, right? We haven't seen these performances, so we really can't speak on the performances themselves. But I get what you're talking about on the whole. It's like, well, you know what? You do makeups before, do makeups now. So I remember reading a Rolling Stones article where where they talked about, and like he said, the Oscars reminded him of his aunt. Mm-hmm. She's a little hip. That's still a little bit racist. There's still a little bit, the whole, there's still a little bit of that. You got to think about who is running the Academy Awards, who's the main ones voting, right? It's not people who look like us who are the mainstays voting. So it's kind of like, you don't understand how this performance is powerful versus this one. Because a good example, even though a lot of people say it was because Eddie Murphy did Norbit, which I don't know how another movie has any merit on you winning for, a different movie, which was Dreamgirl, where people were like, that was a robbery that Alan Arkin, who people are like, yeah, Alan Arkin's a good actor. He's a great actor. But they're like, Eddie Murphy deserved that award, but I didn't give it to him because of politics. Also, a little bit of racism in there, because
I do hear that a lot. That the decisions you make as far as like the roles you take can actually affect your chances at the Oscars, and that goes back to the whole thing I was talking about Argo and Ben Affleck, where Ben Affleck had kind of like burnt some bridges with Oscar voters because of some not so stellar roles he had taken, like Daredevil and all that stuff. Geely. You know.
First of all, nobody hate on Daredevil because Daredevil is an underrated gem for me.
Okay, all right. But I think a lot of those decisions kind of it made Ben Affleck not he's not one of us type of thing. You know, he's not. He doesn't belong in our circle. You know, the Oscar circles can be kind of snobbish, right? So I think. Yeah, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But I don't remember. What were we talking about? Anthony Hopkins? Or no, you're talking about Eddie Murphy, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that definitely played a part in it where they're like, oh man, this Norbert thing.
I'm just like, that just doesn't, to me, it does not make sense. I'm like, yo, if you guys are be nominating people for the performance, rate the performance. Like, rate him in Dreamgirls, right? Not, hey man, he did great, but he dressed up as a fat woman. I'm not gonna vote for him because of that. You know, that's just so stupid for me. It's just illogical for me, just because it's just like, no, it doesn't work that way. You shouldn't be doing that. But I will say this: if people do think that Chadwick Boseman should have won, and his performance was what it was phenomenal as it most likely was, because like you said, he was heavily underrated while he was alive. Mm-hmm. Although famous, although popular, he was heavily underrated while he was alive. So,
yeah.
So
I think given the time, he would have had an Oscar type role.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think he would have gotten it for this one if he hadn't passed away?
No, I mean, I feel like if he didn't get it now that he did pass away, he wouldn't have gotten it if he was alive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, no, I mean like the nomination period.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, this had always been pushed as like a prestige type movie by Netflix. You know, I mean, Viola Davis too getting nominated. You know, she didn't get nominated because he died. If anything, to be honest, I thought that he was gonna get a supporting actor nomination, even though he wasn't there that much for the Five Bloods, the Spike Lee movie, and that movie was completely snubbed, except for score. And
they're like, we already gave him a lot of love for the Black Klansman, so
yeah,
we're just
but
like,
the Five Bloods is a really good movie.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm talking about for Spike Lee.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So, anyways,
all right. Are we done with the Oscars? Because I think we should.
We are done with the Oscars because we're about to.